Welcome, everyone, to episode 48 of The World Stone Keep. We're here recording less than a week since we did episode 47. And we thought the awesome response from the contest we're running was a good excuse. Also, beta patch 14, which we're all playing. And I got Ancient Spirit, whoop! And it's sweet. Change some stuff, move some stuff around, which we'll get into. I'm Joe. Joining me on the show, Jordan, Ken, and Dan, per usual. Ken isn't in-game, though, since he's Skyping on his phone with us. He's busy at the moment. Ooh, what are those toads? Exploding toads?
Exploding toads.
Oh man, I need to level up my witch doctor.
Toad explosion.
I'm glad they didn't wipe the characters.
Yeah, that was
I
awesome.
can just hop on all my guys and check all the changes out to each of them.
Yeah. So one of the things that I said last, or 2 episodes ago with last patch about how the Witch Doctor really kind of felt sluggish, they've more or less fixed that now. Like it's back to being good again. Like back to being like really nice and responsive.
Sweet.
Oh, good.
Perfect timing.
And I think it was like maybe, how many, like 14 beta patches ago when I was like, the Wizard is the best ever. They've really reinforced that with Sleet Storm. Yeah, pretty much the coolest thing that has ever been in the beta.
Sweet.
I haven't seen it yet.
Sleet Storm, if you didn't know, is the one that looks like a crazy vortex swirling around you.
Technically,
Like,
you have
raise
seen
your
it
arms up.
because there was the video with when they did the rune preview like 8 months ago.
Haven't played it, let's put it that way. You know,
Yeah,
I'll switch out to my
Yes.
sorceress in a second here and do that good
Sorceress? What?
Wizard, sorry.
The radius is actually a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be, but Frost Nova takes care of all that.
So now on Tuesday we talked about the damage change, the change to how much damage monsters were doing.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like it. It's created, actually, the first day that I got in, I loaded up one of my, like, level 7 wizard or something and was running around and got into the chest event, you know, the one where you could get the infinite combos.
Yay!
Right.
Yep.
And so I'm just like, all right, let's do this. And I loaded up and I died because the 4 pillars came up. And
That's awesome.
I just got ripped apart. I'm like, oh crap! What's my potion key? I never hit it. I don't remember.
Nice.
So true.
It's cute.
So we so that was kind of
Just remember, QQ. That'll help you remember it.
QQ, you can't spam potions.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
yeah.
I actually squealed. I loaded up a new character because all of mine were already past 10, and since they put in hardcore in the beta now, and you need to ding a level 10, I have to start over, and I got to the Skeleton King and started squealing because he almost killed me. 2 hits, and I was down to, like, nothing left.
Yeah, because people were asking that. They're like, well, you know that everything is at its double damage. Like, does that apply to bosses and elites and rares and whatnot? Yes, it does.
Check this.
Nice.
He did his, like, roar where he, sticks his mace in the air, and he's like, yo, I'm about to smash your face in, and you can't see him, and I reflexively tried to Frost Nova him, and he laughed at me and smashed my face in. Good experience.
Yeah.
So stuff hits hard, stuff hits fast. Really nice level of threat. I'm finding myself
everywhere.
there's money everywhere. I find myself like I've got to move around like constantly. Not on these characters. I mean, this character's out levels everything, but you got to keep moving. And so that whole thing that we were talking about last one with the space bar, or
that's
being
new.
able to bind move as a command, it works great. Like I'm moving around combat, like I don't have trouble getting to health globes and actually taking advantage of them and moving into position for area like conal attacks and stuff in order to actually get a good coverage on it.
I like my new skill.
Gold, 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 gold.
So did anyone notice that chest wasn't there? It was a dead villager. See, that's a little change, but it's still something. You know, you kind of get tired of seeing things exactly the same after a while. But, you know, it makes me wonder what other little things never actually made it to implementation before.
Now, on the subject of the gold, like we were talking about we mentioned this a little bit in just sort of our chat before the episode, but they did something really neat with that. Everyone's pointing out like, oh yeah, there's tons of gold dropping, but I've been paying attention to how much gold I was actually making on like a per run basis. I decided to take a look at it, and you are making a little bit more, but not a lot. It's an illusion. They've taken the average. So what they've done, sorry, I guess this is a little bit of speculation on my part, but I figure what they've done is they've been testing out, and they found a really nice average gain, like how much gold you gain per time. And once they figured out that average, they just took the numbers and like, okay, increased the maximum and lowered the minimum. So you're seeing a lot more drops, but you're also seeing a ton of drops of like 1 or 2 gold.
Yeah, it makes sense.
That was just really intense. But yeah, we talked about this before, and it's freaking awesome. So it's more piles. It's more piles of smaller amounts of gold instead of minimal piles of large amounts of gold. So it gives the illusion that you're actually picking up a lot more gold than you are, when relatively it's more about the same.
And because you remember, like, I mean, now you're seeing piles of 60 or 70, and you're going like, holy crap, that's a ton of gold.
Yes.
But you forget the fact that it's sitting next to a pile of 1 and a pile of 2.
Right.
And half the time, I don't even look at the numbers of gold I'm picking up. I'm just like, ooh, shiny gold.
Ooh, shiny. Yeah, exactly. So they're tricking you, and they're doing it in a really cool way.
Which I'm okay with. I think it's awesome.
Do you know how stage magic actually works?
Trickery.
No, more specifically, illusion.
Illusions.
Well, not just illusion. Let me clarify here. It is distraction. If you can create enough distraction for the brain, you can have someone walk right out in front of you. You would not see them. Yeah. So, again, with subtlety things like this, all you really need to do is create enough distraction where you don't notice the details. And then all of a sudden, all those gaps that, originally you saw, they're no longer there. You could be walking on thin air. You wouldn't notice it.
True story.
And one of the ways that they're really able to build that in this case is because, we were talking about the Dark Tower, the what's it called in Diablo 2? With the...
Oh, you're talking about...
Baroness?
Yeah, the Forgotten Tower.
Forgotten Tower, because you've got the Forgotten Tower and you walk in and the first thing you see is you're like, there's
money!
So much gold! And then you realize that you're running around like clicking on piles of like single gold pieces, and very quickly you get to a point where you're like, you know what, screw it, I'm not going to pick up any of it.
Right.
So in this case, because you don't have to like manually click on every single pile, you can just walk over it. You never hit that point where you're thinking, like you're really thinking critically about, well, how much gold is this really? You're just seeing the bigger numbers, if you're seeing them at all, and going like, sweet. So it's pure distraction.
And this also makes you wonder about the decision to temporarily take out companions. Because realistically, you actually noticed them a lot less when you knew that your companion was going to get it. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I didn't really look too closely at the gold as long as I knew my little companion guy was going to get it.
Yo.
I still miss my little bunny.
Stupid chicken.
Yeah, I miss any of them. I would even take the snake at this point. She flew straight up in the air and then faded out of existence. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, I've got no idea what we did to her there. We did something.
Was that Mira Heeman?
Yeah.
I exploding palmed her and then wave of light her, and I'm assuming the barbarian punted her up in the air and she dissolved and exploded at the same time. So there's that.
So the big news with this, I guess, would really be that this build we're playing right now is more or less.
Shipping.
More or less what they plan on shipping with. They are feature locked.
Mm. Great news.
Sign of release?
Sign it from me, definitely. Like that
I'm gonna
one,
say so.
Straight up, yeah.
I was like, this isn't even a joke worthy. It's like, no, seriously.
Sign, please.
It's like, sign of beta? Yeah, they just sent you the beta key. Yeah.
Beta keys are a sign of beta. Yeah.
Speaking of beta keys, we have some to give out, and we're running a contest if you don't know. Hopefully this show will be up by the time it's over. Though chances are you're probably listening to this and the contest has ended. But we have a contest going on right now, and we've gotten some awesome entries. Way more than I ever anticipated we would get. Which is why I was planning on doing it for 2 weeks, but we got a bunch, and it's going to be insanely hard as it is to narrow it down to just 5 per competition to give out. So we're ending that Sunday night, which hopefully I'll get this up Sunday morning, so you'll have a day if you're listening to this on Sunday to get your entry in before we pick the winners, and we'll announce them on Monday or Sunday night, one of those.
Something or another.
Well, good luck to everyone who entered. There's some freaking awesome entries out there.
Yeah.
I can't wait to
Response
check
has
them
been
out.
Pretty freaking cool. I have to admit.
Yeah. Funny ones. So good.
Never underestimate people's creativity. That's what I always
Oh,
say.
holy crap.
As I say, I have not seen any of them other than like reading a little bit of the initial ones that were just text. And, you know, I'm still saying this because, again, I told you ahead of time, I think it's going to be bigger than you think it is.
And
we were warned. We were not prepared.
It surpassed my expectations on the very first day.
Yeah, it only took a couple of hours before we had a lot of really good stuff. So, thanks, guys. Like seriously, thanks for
been
participating. It's pretty cool. It's gonna be hard figuring out which ones to hand them out to. I wish we could just give you all keys.
I know. I actually lobbied with Bashiak. I emailed him and I was like, hey man, we got like a killer response from a bunch of people. And I'd love to be able to pull an Oprah Winfrey and just give everyone a key. Is this possible? It is like, well, we got to be fair to the other fan sites too. So if we do another wave, we'll consider adding you guys in. For right now, yeah, pretty much. It's like, dude, the game's going to be out in like a month anyway.
Yeah.
So don't even worry about it.
That's a heck of a lot.
That was actually a funny thing. Is a couple of our fans pointed that out. They're like, guys, 2 weeks, like,
yeah.
What if the game comes out? And I sat there, I said, you know what? Because we didn't realize that this patch was going to come out when we were recording that. So put a little bit of context in it, but it just wound up being like, you know what? That's actually a really, really good point. Like,
yeah.
they could announce a release date tomorrow, and it wouldn't surprise me.
Right.
So it's like 2 weeks. It's like, yeah, what happens if it ends up being? It's like, okay, we're closing the beta contest. The game will be out in 7 days.
Oh, and then we'd have a lot of angry people.
Yeah.
Like, thanks for nothing, jerks.
Well, when they're playing it, they'll forget we ever existed to some degree.
Know, right?
A lot of people are like,
Who?
Man, remember like 10 years ago there was this podcast? Nah, I don't remember that. You're making stuff up again, man. Oh,
we are the highlight of so many people's lives. They were born to this podcast.
Well, you know.
Man. I hope a lot of these entries stick around and become part of our community because there's some awesome people out there.
Yeah, I mean, realistically speaking, I think there are going to be a lot of people just from this this whole shebang that's like, oh, I can't wait to see this dude online. You know, how awesome would it be to be playing a game and be like, hey, you're from the podcast, right? Like, yeah.
Yes. I'm that
now
guy.
This was cool. I thought this was really cool. There was
Oh no.
on our forums, there was a thread asking about like, okay, beta dilution. Like, will the beta dilute the final experience? And my take on it does change it though, but in a little way. And I don't want to sound like I'm tooting our own horn or whatever, but in a little way, it actually makes it more awesome because you've run Skeleton King like 100 times, 200 times, 300 times. And then you finally have the final game. And as you're working towards that point that was previously the cutoff, it just gets more and more intense. You get to the Royal Crypts and suddenly it's like, oh God, like, I'm actually going to be allowed to go further this time. Like, what's beyond this? I don't know. It's so familiar, but I have no idea what's past this point. Exit, new character. Just like kill and then just back up and like just grind to 13 just to stay in your safe zone.
Only if you're playing hardcore.
Speaking of hardcore, I haven't gotten into hardcore yet, which is also something they introduced in this latest patch.
Of course,
hardcore characters.
Pretty sure you guys figured out I really have not played this patch version at all yet.
Which is surprising, because you're usually the one who's like, yeah, I got every character maxed out already after like a couple days.
That was part way. I already had him.
Wiped, otherwise, yeah, he already had Betamax and Overachiever. He's like, they didn't wipe me. I did like first thing I looked for in the patch notes was whether or not it was a character wipe.
Do I have to play or not?
There's no character wipe, and I looked at the changes. I'm like, I'll check out Exploding Palm later. That's all right, you know. And it's like, oh, there are actually changes. They didn't put this in the notes.
Ancient Spear, ka-chink.
I'm always excited to see new skills. I mean, that's kind of a given, but
oh yeah.
I like the change where the crafty melee characters got a 30% damage reduction.
Yeah.
Laugh.
Yeah,
how long
except
ago did I
the
call
whole
that?
crappy thing, right?
No, they're pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I couldn't even say that with laughing. Barbarian's awesome. That monk.
Yeah, he is. That monk guy. Or girl.
I'm gonna enjoy pummeling you into the ground, Ken. Eventually.
Oh, you won't be able to do that on release.
I know I won't.
News.
I know I won't, but you know what? By the time it happens, we'll both be level 60, and it'll be all the more epic.
If anybody doesn't know by now, the game is not shipping with PvP. It will be continued to be worked on until they get it to a point they're happy with. Then they'll release it in a patch. Which means that you just get to play the storyline and enjoy that.
Honestly, that surprised me. Like, I was a little bit shocked by that news.
Which part of it?
Just the fact
that they wouldn't hold off production until it's ready.
Not that part. No, just the that it wasn't ready to go. Like that they don't feel like it's ready to go.
Yeah.
I figured like
it's pretty straight. You'd think it'd be pretty straightforward, right?
You know, like I
haven't finished.
Like, let's make a box for people to fight in.
They haven't finished their Warsong Gulch map yet, so you know.
Hush on that now.
You say stuff like that.
But so I'm excited to find out because like I was under the impression they were just going to have like 2 or 3 arena maps that would be like functionally the same as each other.
Wait, don't kill him.
You know, like just the same format.
On him. Yes! Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, I backed off just for you.
See, the PvP thing would be like a really big bummer for me, but I mean, for the most part, for the first month or whatever, I'm going to be just doing PvE anyways.
Heck yeah.
And to compensate for that, they really hit the money in this patch with the loot. One run from the beginning to the Skeleton King, actually no, it's not even that much. Wherever you start, the checkpoint you start on the quest to go kill the Skeleton King, from there to the end, my bag is just completely full of blues.
Yeah. And I've all just garbage.
They're mostly garbage.
I mean, I just saw a pair of gloves with agility on them, or dexterity rather.
They also took out a lot of items that you were able to craft before in favor of finding stuff, I believe.
Yeah.
So makes sense. Because
instead of crafting a bunch of gear at lower levels, they want you to actually find and pick up blues and all that jazz.
Well, and it also controls, like, I mean, the DPS that people are doing. My monk is completely overpowered right now because I had a level 11 staff left over from last patch that you can't craft anymore. You can't find them. Like, you're not going to find a weapon like this, and it's like it's a measly like 21 DPS. You know, last patch and patch before that and before that, a 21 DPS weapon was like acceptable, and now it's like frickin' god mode.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, you say that, and I can't use my axes and all that. However, I do have a 21 DPS one-handed fist weapon that I got from King Leod from last patch. So it's like,
last patch.
Yeah, it's a 21 DPS fist weapon, so it's one-handed. I'm just thinking, if only I had two of them! Why didn't I play the last patch more?
You should start a new character and get them up, and then try and do the same things you did last patch now, like try and craft them anything and get their DPS up. It's really hard.
It's good to know.
Yeah, like just finding something like even 16, 17 DPS is worth its weight in gold right now.
Right.
So they doubled the damage of all the monsters, and then they just went and took a poop all over all the crafting stuff, and just like, no, you don't get this anymore. Screw you. Well, they just made it higher level, I guess you should say. So it's nice. It makes it difficult.
You don't get in beta
when you're not one button smashing your way through everything. You actually have to pummel them a couple times to get them to die. Unless you're the wizard. And you just hold down Sleet Storm.
I was waiting for that.
Yep.
You mean, unless you have no talent and you need a character that what? Oh, okay.
I don't know.
No,
Wizard's the only character I've died on this patch.
Oh. Well, that's just... the problem there is the user, not the class.
No, I'm pretty sure it's like the basic fundamental design of the wizard as a class. You know, it's intrinsic to it.
What you need to do is just go and do what I do. Get one of those dipping birds and just get them to peck your Sleet Storm button. And then all you have to do is run around and get it to constantly peck Sleet Storm. Win. I love the arcane orb, like massive nerf.
Oh crap! Oh crap!
Elephant!
Oh crap! Teleporting massive, unhurried.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Oh, there's more. I've seen a couple new rare affixes in game, several actually.
Yeah.
The most interesting one was Nightmarish.
Nightmarish.
Chance to fear on hit.
Oh.
They fear you for it was probably a good like 3 or 4 seconds.
Yep.
And these are monsters?
Yep.
Oh, I like
just teleporting, extra strong, lightning enchanted Nightmarish. I don't know. I'm just thinking of Inferno mode, something with Nightmare, like you're extra fast, extra strong Nightmarish.
Losing control of your character in Nightmare. Oh.
I'm going to point out that the monk has this amazing ability to negate like 75% of all incoming damage just because he's disabled.
Yeah. I'm thinking what we're going to see, like, it's starting to make sense from Bashak's point of view, where he's talking in these threads about Magic Find, and he's like, you guys seem to think that you'll actually be able to afford Magic Find on your gear. And he's sitting there going like, yeah, you're going to want Vitality, you're going to want Armor, you're going to want crowd control, like time reduction. You know, you're going to want so many stats just to stay alive. You're going to wonder if you can even afford, you know, some damage.
Which in multiplayer games, Magic Find will now be the average of every player in game.
And Gold Find.
What do you guys think about that?
I think it's a little odd, but I think I'm coming to the conclusion that I'm just not in a place where I can accurately gauge how big of an effect it's going to get or it's going to have. Because right now, like, it's hard to not get tied up in the whole, like, well, if I've got tons and other people have none, then that's unfair. But, you know, like you just said, like, logistically, is it even going to be possible?
Or a problem or any of that?
Because...
Yeah, I don't know.
there is a very real possibility that it ends up being, that things just end up being hard enough.
Come here, John Dar.
There's a very real possibility that things end up being hard enough that you need so many like defensive stats and so many offensive stats that someone who stacks Magic Find is the leecher. Like they're the one who is taking advantage of everyone else, and they're the one who's going to get kicked out, not the person with none.
Joe, you've made me laugh a lot this game. I'm not gonna lie. You were enjoying that far too much.
That's awesome.
But it'll be interesting to see how the community kind of like reacts to it. What we come up with in response.
Right. And I think it's overall a good idea given a lot of what we know about it now. But again, just like you said, I can't really accurately say based on just the fact that we can't really test this properly just yet. So I'm kind of eager to see how it plays out by, Nightmare and Hell Mode and Inferno.
Oh, so many skeletons, tons of skeletons.
I just laughed every time I read those threads, and I was just like, these people complaining that everyone's going to be leeching their Magic Find, and I'm like, you're just going to get your balls handed to you so hard in Inferno, and I want to be there when it happens, and I'm just going to sit back and laugh and laugh and laugh.
Well, I've already found, even in this build, even in normal, if you're kind of level appropriate, you shouldn't be wandering off on your own in a 4-player game.
Nope.
I mean, you can manage it, you can handle it if you're good at the game, but it's an uphill climb.
I think people's perspectives of the game and its difficulty have kind of been, I don't know, what's the word, coddled with the beta?
Askew?
Yeah, it's just like the beta's been really easy and they've been tuning and all that, and people really think that this game's going to be easy, and I don't think they understand how difficult Inferno's going to be.
Well, and it swung back and forth. I mean, patch 9 was incredibly grindy and difficult because all of the numbers were jacked up. No one was doing any good damage, and monsters were doing tons and had 3 times as many hit points. And then it swung the other way, and it was like, oh, baby's day out.
I think it's so funny, the description of that video when they're like, that one guy, the one who's like, I promise you guys will get your balls kicked in. He kind of phrased it the best. He's like, normal is just like, nah, whatever. He's like, the real game starts at Nightmare, and you're going along and you're seeing whatever, it's just a zombie, and you go up and smack him, like, whoa.
Hey, ow!
Yeah, the guy just killed me.
That actually hurt.
And then hell is going to be hard. And then people don't understand, Diablo 2, you out-leveled the creatures, and eventually they just became nothing. That'll never happen in Diablo 3. They'll always be bigger and badder than you.
I don't know. If I get that epic, unique two-handed sword on a barbarian, I can't really imagine it being like, oh no, this is still super duper hard. I'm gonna be like, but I look really, really badass.
Yeah, it does need to eventually taper off. I mean, otherwise the whole power gain.
Maybe when you have the third tier of Inferno gear. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Eventually you'll get the gear for it, but I certainly appreciate what you're saying, which is.
Well, even then, you might have you might have gear them, but you won't have level them, and that still will provide at least. Still, even with the tier 3, I imagine you're gonna hit a couple of rare monster spawns that are still gonna kick your trash in.
Well, I mean, I don't think that a tier 3 geared out monk, is still gonna stay alive in Joe's hands or anything, but so.
Hey man,
and same thing with a geared out wizard in Dan's hands. That's just not something that's gonna work out very well.
We have so much fun on the show. But yeah, like I say,
It's not my fault that you're just so good with the wizard that you can make up for her deep systematic flaws.
See, now that's a hard one for me to go over because on one side you really boosted.
You see, I
on
appealed to your
side,
ego and still insulted the wizard deeply.
Yeah,
I've made it impossible for you to respond.
That's a conundrum.
I think you did. I'm gonna have to mull that one over.
Epic.
You're still a noob.
I actually really like the way my character looks right now with the shield. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
poor
expect
wizard.
one for a long time, but that's besides the point.
I loaded up my boss wizard with like 1 billion DPS, and half her gear was unusable because of the patch, and there was no offhand I could craft for her at all. I had to put on a shield.
Yeah, I mean,
What?
the pants my character's using right now kind of look like they belong on a 15-year-old boy. Well, maybe younger. It's like they're
Sweet green booties on.
up above the knees. They're plain as day. They kind of look like they're made out of sackcloth. And it's like, yeah, I'm level 13. Oh, my gear is all gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where's the way down?
That way.
It's going to be up here in the top right.
Go that way.
I'll
Are you
just
guys, when release comes out, are you gonna play with the mini map ping or whatever, the map ping
No.
that shows where the exit is?
No.
Well, I kind of like it just because I ran into a lot of problems in D2 where I would map out like everything except for like one corner because the room looked empty, but so when you're just scrolling through the map, it's like, oh, I've mapped everything and I can't see it and I don't know where to even start checking.
Oh, that's a new waypoint location. That's
Yep.
interesting. Sorry.
Yeah, they moved that to Kibosh, the level 1 power farming.
I like how they made it so they're just like, I'm tired of you guys talking about amulet runs and them being OP and blah blah blah. It's an amulet run in a beta. So you know what? We're just gonna squash that
just
right
gonna
now.
move it.
We're just tired of reading threads on it. You think we're idiots because people are quote abusing quote amulet runs? Kidding me?
That's hilarious.
What are these amulet runs?
Well, you would get that waypoint right there in the Royal
Uh-huh.
Crits that used to be
Yeah.
next to his door. You
Yeah.
go down, you have the Skeleton King say, "He will never," and then gets cut off, and then you kill the returned there.
Because those like 8 guys would drop amulets. Or had this.
What?
They were the highest. Well, they wouldn't drop amulets, but they were the highest level regular mobs in the beta.
Oh.
So they had. And they were actually at a level where they hit the next item ban.
That's also been changed this patch, hasn't it? Like, they can't even drop it anymore, right?
I've heard a couple reports that they drop. Like, people have seen them, but I don't know if that's a bug. Yeah, they're not supposed to. I guess they're like level 20 items now.
Right. I was gonna say, I just remember from the patch notes, because like I say, I haven't played it all. So I'm actually enjoying it for a change being the one like, oh, check this out, guys.
Must be like, yeah, old news. That's so yesterday.
Exactly.
I'm an ancient spirit.
I actually have
Mr.
not seen
Undead King here.
Amulet since I think like the first, actually before the first patch when we first got in. That
I don't
first
think
go.
I've ever found one.
I'm wearing an amulet right now. That's from last version. So I've gotten them most of the patch versions, I think.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be able to wear rings either.
Oh.
But if you got them, they're still good.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got some like plus experience rings, good for power leveling.
Man, I
got
should have
plus
started
damage
with
rings.
rings.
And 4% attack speed ring.
Could have been so rich.
Bolster my DPS.
Can somebody help me out with just the, I don't know, maybe the mentality, the psychology? Someone help me out. Why would anyone post an item on the auction house in the beta for like 100,000 beta bucks?
Boredom, insanity, Wait, I'm going to point this out. I haven't read anything really in the forums in literally months. And it's simply because I did not see the purpose of it. And it's been that way for a while.
That actually brings me to my next thought. Why do the forums exist again? What was their purpose?
Well,
I don't see a purpose behind them anymore.
Occasionally, I think partway it was just kind of to appease the fact that there wasn't much going on, that there wasn't much news. You know, it kind of made people feel like, hey, we're still connected. We still somewhat have a voice, I guess. And
that whole community thing you guys are talking about.
Yeah, the whole community thing. So, you know.
I'm digging myself like a huge hole. Say it at the beginning of this show. People are gonna see my character's name online, like, "Hey, you're that dickhead who hates people."
Ooh, they're going to get us into trouble again.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm gonna grief you.
I did love all the griefing back in the day, though. Like, early on in the forums, when people were like, "Nuh-uh, the monk isn't going to be the next class, that's stupid." And then you see, like, the post deleted long after the monk came in. It's like, oh, yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, that was fun. I like Ancient Spear a lot. I'm glad they added it.
I'm actually really digging Exploding Palm, because I can be like, Exploding Palm! You know.
Be right back. I'll switch to Wizard.
Gonna get some nice Sleet Storm footage.
Yeah.
I'll switch to. I got one. I don't think she's wearing anything anyway, but it doesn't matter, apparently, because they're easy mode, right?
Just get your pecking bird.
Okay.
Or whatever they're called. Water birds, dipping birds.
Yeah, I don't know what they're called, actually, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
The anti-AFK bird.
Yeah. Okay.
Energy Twister.
Did that change?
Yeah, they brought it back down in level.
They also, apparently they nerfed
Frost.
There we go. Ooh, I like that.
Although,
I like that.
I use the term nerfing very loosely because can you really nerf something when it's in beta? Isn't it just called tweaking?
I mean, well, they nerfed entire classes. Like, originally, remember how absolutely terrible it was to play a Demon Hunter starting out?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was actually nerfing. That was like, we're gonna kick you in the face nerfing.
Oh, it's so awesome.
It is. I can feel the awesome coming through Skype.
Anything else change on the wizard? Any?
Arcane Orb got spanked through the ground hard. It's so funny.
How
you
so?
actually have to cast it more than once to kill things.
Really?
Yeah, they shifted the rune, so the one that makes it the bigger radius, Arcane Nova, is like the third or fourth rune now. And the current rune
level 32.
Okay, yeah. It's the current rune is just the increased damage, but yeah. It went from 250% weapon damage to like 175. Which, I mean, it's whatever.
What if?
It did way too much.
We're in sync tonight. I don't know what it is,
We're
Joe.
on another level. I'm so tired. I'm so loopy right now.
That must be it. There we go. Now I don't look like a total noob. I still enjoy that.
Well, I think that's all of the big stuff. I mean, really, that's sort of what it comes down to. We are getting very close.
Yes.
And the contest. We're getting very close to the contest.
That too, be done by the end of tomorrow, which, not if you're listening to this, because you could be listening to this a week from now. Tomorrow being Sunday, the
11th?
That is your karmic punishment for being late.
The 11th, yes. Sunday the 11th is the deadline. And I'll make a blog post about that right now. But in the meantime, it's time to get out of here. Say goodbye, gentlemen.
Take care, everyone.
All right, gentlemen.
Or well, 8.
We'll see you all next time on the World Stone Keep.